What is up, guys? In today's video I'm going to be going over the weapon attachments in Fortnite and my favorite setups to use on a majority of the weapons. I'm going to try to talk about all of them, but at least a majority of the weapons. As always, if you guys do enjoy this video, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you like some more, and comment down below what your favorite setup is on a weapon, like kind of like a low-key setup you have that not a lot of people like. What is up, guys? In today's video I'm going to be talking about the weapon attachments in Fortnite because I've made videos like this in the past, but I still get several comments asking me to explain it, probably from newer players that haven't seen those videos. As always, if you guys do enjoy this video, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you like to see more, comment down below if this has helped you out or if it answered any questions you had, and in the description down below there will be a code for a creative map where you can actually use the mod bench in that creative map. I know some people have a hard time just getting familiar with this because they don't get much time to access it during the game. Like, they might not make it this deep into the game often or be able to make it there. So if you are one of those people that kind of fumbles around with the mod bench and isn't comfortable doing that, just being able to go into creative and familiarize yourself with it in like 5 minutes is nice. Also, there will be a link in the description below for osiren.gg. They're kind of like an analytics Fortnite site, and this video is not sponsored by them at all. But they do have a section where you can like view the hard statistics for what every attachment does in the game. I'm not going to get into the exact numbers of everything in this video because I want it to be kind of quick and short. But if you are someone that wants like the hard data, that is out there. The first thing I'm going to talk about is recoil, because a lot of these attachments are just designed to reduce or control recoil. And recoil is how much your gun kicks when you shoot. So you see here, I shoot and the gun kicks up. And you'll notice the guns in Fortnite, I'm not controlling the recoil at all. They kick and then stop at a certain point. And so this has led some people to like say like, oh, just aim at somebody's feet and then your gun will kick up to their torso and then stop kicking. And that could work, but I feel like if you're fighting someone that's going to fight back and not just let you like shoot them, that's not ideal. Like, your first few shots matter most. I think what is more ideal, and this is going to help you in every game you play as far as shooters go, is controlling recoil. So the previous shots I was not pulling my analog stick down at all. Now I'm going to pull my analog stick, my right aiming stick. I'm going to pull it down slightly while I shoot. And you'll see that it barely moves at all. Like, it kind of is, but it's a lot more steady. And I'm just putting slight downward pressure on my analog stick when shooting. And getting in the habit of doing this and getting good at that, I think is pretty important for playing shooters. And this is all, like, I play controller, but this is also true of mouse. Like, you just pull your mouse down while shooting. So now that that's out of the way, just a quick kind of summation of recoil. For the combat AR, I would like to run this red dot. The different magnifications of sight kind of change your sensitivity, and then they also make recoil feel more severe because the gun is zoomed in. So for pretty much all of my ARs, I just use the basic red dot. For magazine, I feel like you could go either way, but I prefer speed mag. One thing the drum mag does that's unfortunate is it does actually make it take longer to reload, and I feel like the amount of ammo you get is just typically not worth it. So I would go speed mag. And then this attachment is pretty interesting because most people, I think, are going to go vertical grip for just less recoil. And if you're making an AR for long range, I think that makes sense. However, the combat AR is a pretty versatile weapon. So you could maybe go laser sight instead to get a better hip fire. That's just really preference. But I would probably go vertical foregrip. And then muzzle brake for reduced recoil. The suppressor, some people like because it reduces muzzle flash and then also it reduces the noise. But it also does reduce your range. So let's say, for example, this is like an example number, not exactly how it works. But let's say your first damage drop off happens at 10 meters. With suppressor, it might happen at like 8 meters now. It just like pulls everything back a little bit. So that's why I really don't like using suppressor. And I'd rather just run muzzle brake for less recoil. And that's also kind of why I was saying maybe I would run laser sight, because we already have the muzzle brake to reduce the recoil. And as you saw a moment ago when I was shooting, it's not like I have a hard time controlling the recoil of this weapon. But this is like a very basic cookie cutter AR setup. Red dot, fast mag, and then both recoil reducing attachments. And this is what I would use on every AR. So like the combat AR, the TAC AR, the Enforcer AR, the Warforged AR when that was in the game, the Nemesis AR. Enforcer, you can maybe justify going with like thermal because it is more of like a long range one. But this is what I would run on every AR. The next gun I want to talk about is going to be the Thunder Burst SMG. The biggest kind of thing to talk about with this weapon is going to be the fact that the laser sight makes your hip fire perfectly accurate. And this is a property unique to the Burst SMG. No other weapon in the game works like this as of right now. So if you're using the Burst SMG, I think the most important attachment is laser. And what's interesting is that even your ADS fire is perfectly accurate when you have laser. Like, watch, I'll go ahead and take it off. You saw it was perfectly accurate there. Now I have bloom. So even if you, like, some people like using the third-person weapons, and if you're one of those people, Thunderburst with laser is probably the best thing in the game for you. Personally, on my Thunderburst, I run laser, speed mag, muzzle brake. And then the final attachment would be red dot. I like having red dot, but like I said, if you're someone who really likes the third person weapons, maybe just go no red dot, and as long as you have laser, your gun will be perfectly accurate, and it's great. The storm is on me. So we're going to go on to Loot Island real quick, and then we'll pick back up when we're there. Okay, now I'm on Loot Island, and this would be a similar setup that I would use on every SMG pretty much that's been in the game. Laser sight for the better hipfire because SMGs are good up close. Speed mag because I prefer speed mag. Muzzle brake for less recoil, and then the sight is preference. For shotguns, the sight is also going to be heavily preference. A lot of people don't like having red dot on their shotgun. A lot of people like having it. I think it's good, but it's good if you're good with it and used to using it. If you're not used to using it, and it's going to kind of throw you off when you just aim in with the sight on your shotgun, you shouldn't use it, and I personally rarely use sight on my shotgun. I think drum mag is essential on the Gatekeeper shotgun. The magazine capacity is one of the main downsides of this weapon. And so being able to put drum mag on there and get that better ammo is nice. Like 2 rounds isn't the biggest deal, but it can make a huge difference on the Gatekeeper shotgun. Again, I'm going to go laser sight for better hipfire because I typically am hipfiring my shotgun. Some people like angled foregrip on their shotgun, and that's preference. And then muzzle brake, I really don't think matters on the shotgun because recoil isn't a factor. And so me personally, the most important thing would just be no sight, laser sight, and then drum mag. If I was using something like the combat or the pump, you can't run drum mag on there, I don't think. So it'd be like speed mag, laser sight would be like the important ones to have. And the final thing I want to talk about is going to be the crossbow. I personally like thermal on it. It doesn't really matter what sight you use, it's preference. I think drum mag is nice on the crossbow though, because you can only carry 12 rockets as reserve. But if you have drum mag, you have 5 in, and then you can still have 12 reserves, so you can get 2 additional rockets. And then I would go laser sight, maybe angled foregrip, it's not that big of a deal, and then muzzle brake can't be attached. But that's the main point on the crossbow would be the drum mag. I think having drum mag on there is nice. Alright, for the last weapons, I wanted to show this creative map. The code will be in the description down below, but there's a lot of creative maps that have the mod bench, but this is one that does. And so you see, I am in this lobby area here. Got the DMR. This is one of the weapons I was unable to talk about in that match. I feel like you want to go thermal or sniper scope. It just depends on you. I would go speed mag and then probably vertical recoil reduction or angled foregrip. I remember this weapon not having too much recoil, so I think I would go angled foregrip and then probably muzzle brake for reduced recoil. Some people like the suppressor on the DMR, but it always felt weird to me. I honestly haven't really used it much at all this season though. So yeah. And then the final weapon I want to talk about is the hand cannon, but only the mythic one is in here, so you can't customize it. But I would actually run very similar attachments. I think I would run the first red dot because that's what I'm most comfortable with. Speed mag, probably laser sight, and then muzzle brake. But I don't really use the hand cannon or the DMR really much at all this season. And then the Ranger pistol isn't in here, but I would run the same setup that I run on SMG. So it'd be like speed mag, laser sight, muzzle brake, and then probably red dot or no red dot, just depending on what you want to use. Like I said, the weapons follow very similar kind of setups where it's just like, what are you using the weapon for? If it's a close range weapon, you probably want laser sight and then some recoil reducing attachments. If it's a mid to long range weapon, you probably want entirely recoil reducing attachments and then a sight of your choice. And so like the attachment system in this game might seem daunting for, you know, a newer player, or if you don't get much time to experience it during the match because of like the chaos that kind of happens around weapon bunkers. But I do think it's fairly straightforward and simple as long as you just think about like, what is this weapon for? How can I amplify that weapon strengths? If it's a mid to long range, it's going to be less recoil and then a sight that works well for that. If it's a close range weapon, it's going to be speed and then things like laser sight and then muzzle brake for less recoil, just because there's nothing else in that slot that really fits. But that is going to be it for this video. Like I said earlier though, there will be a code for this map in the description down below. If you are someone that doesn't really get much time to experience the mod bench, I think just going in here, playing around for a few short minutes can really help you. And then there will be a link to a siren in the comments down, or in the description below as well, if you do want like the hard breakdown of exactly what every single attachment does, but I don't really think that's that necessary. Like, just knowing like less recoil, better hipfire, things like that is what matters most. Hope you guys found this helpful, informative, interesting. As always, if you did, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.